Hello my creatures and kobolds, and welcome to episode 7 of Age of Scales. Last episode we were working on some of the buildings, a bit of a rush. We got the fisherman's hut finished and some of the residential houses done. Can't see those today though because it is so hot. My laptop is overheating, so I've had to reduce our render distance for now so I can at least get something done without the fan overbearing anything I'm trying to say. So, rather than looking over the render distance there, I'm going to just jump over there and go over our plans for today. Okay, so here we are. We built up those buildings, prepped up some stuff ready for today's episode. We'll try and get this all finished up, detailed and everything today. But the only thing I've done between episode is sort of tidy up some of these other buildings. As anyone can remember, this was only a 2 wide building before, but I've sort of widened it out because otherwise there won't be actually an interior, because we still need to actually put the walls in place in between this. And again, we'll probably make that a single building. So I've sort of been updating the foundation of each building. I mean, they're not perfect. I still need to put in the stone stairs on the edges. But I can do that when I actually get started on those builds. For now, I'm just sort of marking them out properly so they are actually the right size and shape, hence why the pillars are starting to be put in place at the same time. So there was our tavern and the little dot around it, tavern. This is just some residential buildings here that are just going to be behind the barn, next to the tavern kind of thing, and so that actually gives me an idea of what I'm going to start today's episode doing. A few episodes back, I lost a load of footage where I was sort of giving a tour and placing out all these buildings, and I did quickly skim over it with what I wanted, but at the same time it was really rushed, and I think it's worth going over again properly once I wake up from a quick nap. Alright, where was I? So, as I said, tavern here, we're going to have a bit of an overhang. Next, we have the Tinkerer's Workshop just outside it. Again, not making all these in today's episode, we're just getting the foundations in place. So let me get my spruce and let's fix this up really quick. Alright, so then, after that, we have the upper part of town. By our house, behind the barn, we have these buildings here. Mostly residential. We got this one, some type of house. I was thinking actually it might convert this into a music shop. I know it's not something you'd commonly see, but I just got a bit of inspiration to do one of those soon. Another residential here, and then this is going to be some form of lookout tower. So then, let's fix these foundations and cue that quick zippy time-lapsey thing. And that's 3 more buildings, all laid out and fixed. And needed it too. We had some that were... Oh my goodness, I'm first person. This one here wasn't placed correctly. We would have had an impossibly to move house, impossibly to enter house, and this one was even worse. It was only going to be 1 square wide throughout the entire thing when we were done, so that had to be widened out. And that's sort of the reason why this reset of the foundations need doing, because otherwise we're going to have houses that don't actually make sense and we can't make use of the interiors. So we need to widen out some. That's just a wheat farm. Let's find our next project. Market. That doesn't need marking out. This is a monument of some kind, so that's fine as is. That is all done and dusted over there with the mill. Here's a continuation of the market, this patch here. Then we've got this building in the middle thoroughfare. We've got the fisherman's hut, the residential section over there. That's just opposite the wood mill. And this is going to be our blacksmith. I think this is another good one to start building up and fix its foundations. Alright, one blacksmith done. Decided that this outcroppy bit here is going to be a chimney. The rest of it is like a small L-shaped pattern. But again, all these are for future episodes. Today is just sort of figuring out the town, getting a bit of a layout in place, and later working on that residential district. Realising there's not a door, so I might get stuck in some of these buildings. Alright, so building is now laid out. Tanners and tailors. Tanners on this side, where we've pushed the wall out a little bit more, so we've got a bit more space, where the animals would get moved into here, cleaned up. Essentially, it's where pieces of leather would get made before getting moved over here to this side, where the tailors would be, where we've sort of just cleaned up the shape a bit more, so it all sort of works out. So the overhang is going to go clearly in this section here. I'm actually tempted to pull this out another bit, actually, so this isn't flush with the wall. You know what, let's do that quickly. I can even do that on camera. Really quick. Cut those off. Add cobble stair there. Cobblestone. Those. And then I think it's that. Those there. And that there. Just so this isn't going to be flat up against the wall, essentially. This archway. So that is tanners and tailors all done and dusted. Our blacksmith is just been finished. So there's a few residential houses, which I'll do. We got these ones here, a diagonal on a box. Here we're going to have some form of church thing, I think. You find that most European towns have a church of some kind. Don't want one that specifies any specific religion though. I don't want it any muddying with that stuff. So I might have to change some of the designs in that, but we'll see. I'll probably just cut all these off and clean them up off camera now. Here we have the residential section here behind the mill. There's going to be a stairway connects to the new diamond mine when I finish that up. But that's all it is back here, is just residential building after residential building. Now there's a lot of residential buildings that need being built up. There are more buildings here than I have subscribers, which actually gives me an idea for some of them. I know I don't want to push the whole YouTube thing too much, but there's no point not getting you lot involved. So, if any of you want to claim a house and have some ideas of what you want decorated inside, I'll go ahead and make one for you. It might as well. It'll give me some inspiration. It gets you lot involved a bit more. I think it's a good idea. I'm still going to tidy them all up now, but I'm just going to sort of do a quick clip cut thing to do it. And before we do that, I'm going to need a good place to look at it. So we're going to jump right in the middle of the church, pillar ourselves up, and we can look at this residential section here. And with magic of editing, we can cut back with 3, 2, 1, and done. There is our foundations all done and dusted. Sure, I still need to trade them out for stairs and things, and I'll have to replace some of the lanterns, as it's sort of like here, it's cut off into the road a little. I don't mind it doing that here and there, but I need to sort of fix some of the lamps where it's kind of broken off. But we've reshaped some houses, added an extra 2 here and there, so we're all good. Now, next on the list, let's finish off yesterday's project, or last week's project. Those are residential buildings. Let's hop over there. First person camera to do that. Let's hop over there and see what needs to be done to get this finished off this week. So if I remember last time, we had started blocking in some of the buildings. This first one is practically all blocked out, roofed and everything. I still need to do the extra details, buttons and things. Then these ones still need the roofs going in and their details finishing off. It's probably this building here that we'll work on next. Then from there, we're going to work on these 3, and if there's time, we'll get started on these other ones back here. I'm going to get my materials, and I might do this. Oh dear, what's happened? I think it's working. Where was I? Oh yes, so I'm going to finish off these and do ideas and updates, or clips, or a time lapse. Weird funny clips. I'm going to jump in and out in progress shots. I think that's how we'll do today's episode. Alright, let me grab my things and let's get started. Just realising something. Just sort of realising that because it's a 2x3 interior, it's an even number. I always do odd numbers so we come to a single point, but we've not got that on this building. That's a problem when it comes to the roof designs. We sort of go up, and we're going to reach an... Oh, careful not to die here. We're going to reach an issue of designing the roof. Because, honestly, the barn's roof is my favourite one, but we might have to do something similar on this. I really need to get some feather falling or something. Yeah, it's offset. It's a little crooked, but I think that's going to look a bit nice. Yeah, I think that looks nicer than the alternative. Once we've got windows in place, it might be worth leaning into the asymmetry. Alright, back to this. Roofs are all put in place. I put the chains in, shutters, buttons, details. These houses, on the outside at least, are done. Because if you go inside, there are little hollow shells that need a bit of clean up here and there, but decorating isn't a priority right now. Next, I don't know what is next. Let's just keep going over this house for a bit more. Yeah, because inside this one, we've got a ladder that goes up a few stories, but there isn't a lot of interior space. This one though, we actually have a bit of wiggle room inside. A bit crowded with the stairway, but it works. Now we just look at it from the other angles, which I'm cool. Ooh, we haven't done shutters up there, but you know what? I don't think it needs those. We've done the back end, all of it. It's always important to... Can I get up the... It's always important to do the backs of your build. I mean... Yeah, it's always important to do the backs of your build because you never know, you might be coming from that direction or any direction. So it's always nice to make sure that they're good from every angle. There's only one bit that isn't actually decorated, and it's this piece here, but that's going to be more an interior once the tavern gets made. It's night, I'll sleep, I'll figure out what's next on my to-do list. Okay, bit behind the scenes here. That's nonsense about uploading information. Here we go. Episode 6's plans. Wait, This is episode 7. Okay, so finish the residential area, we just done that, and I just clicked off it. Fully decorate residential. Yeah, so adding trees, carts, bone mealing up the grass, doing some of the minor decorations, something I should have been keeping up with, but now's as good a time as any. Then if there's time, we'll get to the skeleton farm, custom trees, just more decorations and things. And if there's time, get to that music shop. If not, that'll be episode 8. But again, we've got a few other bits and pieces that we've got planned, and once that's all done, that'll be the season essentially. So we can jump back in and get started on decorations. So as I'm walking over to grab my bits and pieces for decorations, bone meal and everything, actually I've got quite a bit of bone meal in here, went to the liberty of already doing a bit before, so just threw in some coarse dirt, but also most of the buildings now have a bit of a foundation in place, so they're all the proper size, and they've all got little spruce slab floorings all in place. I do need to go around town though at some point though and clean up these. So these trench roads that have sort of been in place, there's a lot of like cuts where new roads have had to be attached. So I need to sort of cap those off and add some more bits here and there. But actually that's probably going to be part of me decorating up right now. Gonna grab what I need, fill up my inventory and get started on this. Alright, so gone from my storage and I've grabbed everything we need. We got oak, both the capped version and normal I can convert as I need, spruce logs and all the bits I need to fix the roads, then all our detailing, we got some bushes, we got some hay bales, moss so we got some variation in the dirt, barrels and composters whenever we need them, and bone blocks to spruce up some of the growth. One thing I do actually want to add quickly, if I've got some somewhere, I don't, but I just want to build up a nice handful of crafting tables to dot around town as we go as well. What I'm going to do is also mark out where I want any custom trees, and we'll see where we go from there. Okay, we're a little behind schedule. Episode's already going to be a week late, but we'll make do with what we got available. Now, before I end the episode, last thing I want to do is work on finishing off the decorations, or at least get this tree put in place. Now, bone mealed up the area, changed out some stuff from moss, give it a bit texture variation, and then, you know what, that's all it needs. But I just want a custom tree here, and this is not it. I actually need to get up there and tear this thing down quickly before I can get started. This is where it's going to be, but my first attempt at trying to mark out a height was really bad. So, went to a creative testing world, tried out a few different designs and seeing what can work, and we're going to try and make something in the same vein as it. So, first thing that I want to do is build up some form of roots, so that sort of bulges up a little to say, here are the roots. Now I will be using some spruce, some oak. Let's get rid of that. I want some leaves. I want some grass, but no flowers. We can have that. We can have those like that. I actually think I want to trade that out for some oak as well. You know what, I'll raise that up like that. And it's a start. It needs refining a bit more. You know what, I'm going to drop that back down. This is sort of a touch and go kind of construction. You know what, I think I know what I'm doing. I'm going to build that one up to a 2-block tall, put a fence in there, and that's, yeah, that looks better for a root system. And the sun's going down. Go get a sleep, cut back, and it's morning. Sun is over that way some way. So let's build up this custom tree. Yeah, so let's jump down and have a look at that. It's a bit wiggly. I'd like it to have come up this way slightly more. I might add an extra branch here. I'm going to do that. I'm going to work on this a little bit more. Change up the branches a bit more so they make a bit more sense. And then put the leaves on. I'll show you what that looks like afterwards. Ow. That feels wrong. I just can't get good look. I mean, look at that. That's a tree. That's how this is supposed to look. But I just can't figure out how I'm supposed to make it in survival. Bit of a cognitive dissonance between the two ideas. Just built this out of random bits and pieces, and it worked. But I can't seem to emulate it now. Okay, so this is a creative world. This is what the tree was. I've just stripped off the leaves so I can have a better idea of what we're actually working with here. Try and figure out what went wrong in survival mode. Problem is, this is what I keep seeing in the survival mode, whereas while I'm in creative mode, I'm looking at it more from over here and flying around. You can get better angles at what you're looking at. But in survival mode, you're so up close half the time, you're not seeing what you're actually building properly. Let's move over back to survival mode and let's take another stab at this. Yeah, that feels better from here at least. But let's just destroy more of my grass. There's enough grass here to make up for it. So let me just back up a bit and have a look. That branches out more. Yeah, that is what I want. Next to the leaves, that's going to be the fun part. Oh, I'm not very good at making natural builds. I don't do it. I do not do it, but I want to get better, and the only way to get better is to practice. Yeah, I am quite happy with that. Maybe at some point I'll get some vines, or some glow vines, something to add a bit more to the tree, but that is all it needs. We've got enough decorations now that I feel that the house is going to blend in a little bit more. If we just pull ourselves back a little, get a nice little vantage on this stump. Yeah, blends the house in a bit more, custom trees along with everything else. Sadly, I am really running out of time for this episode, so we're going to have to leave it here. Any other projects and things we're going to have to get done next time. So hopefully I'll be back in a few weeks with another episode for you. Until then, I've been Kobold Queen, this has been Age of Scales, and it's time to jump off something really tall. Not as tall this week. Bye people.